And just in, two national polls showing the same results. Governor Romney up by 1. Both Gallup and Rasmussen showing Governor Romney leading President Obama 49% to 48%. Of course, that is well within the margin of error. Former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, joins us. Before we talk about those, Dixville Notch and Hart's location in about an hour and 57 minutes.
It's great. It's the American drama. After all the talk, all the ads, all the pontificating, the American people get to tell us.
And it's so fun for these two little towns to be the first.
And they have been, I think, since 1912 or something. It's an amazing experience.
Well, and of course, New Hampshire is a swing state this time around, but we'll get to New Hampshire in a second. The two national polls just in, Governor Romney up by 1. Might as well be, I mean, it's tied. Do these national polls mean anything right now, or should we be focusing on these state by state? And do they mean anything?
I don't think any of it means anything that you can rely on. There are two alternative universes out there. If you believe, as one national poll did 2 days ago, that this is going to be an 11% more Democratic voting base, they got to a tie between Romney and Obama by saying it'll be Democrats will be 11% more likely to vote. That's higher than 2008. That's inconceivable. I mean, you have to wonder where their brain was at. On the other hand, if you believe, as I do, as a lot of other key players do, that the energy, the enthusiasm, the drive is on the Romney side. I'll give you one example. They're talking about Democratic early voting in Ohio, but they're counting the counties along the Ohio River, which are coal country, which are Second Amendment gun rights country, which are God-fearing country, all the things Obama used to have contempt for back in San Francisco in 2008. Those Democrats are going to vote against Obama. I mean, they didn't go early voting to vote for Obama. These counties are next to West Virginia, where a convicted felon got 40% of the Democratic primary for president. And so I think you're likely to see a Romney. My personal guess is you'll see a Romney landslide, 53% plus in the popular vote, 300 electoral votes plus, and we may come very close to capturing control of the Senate in that context.
What's so interesting, I polled the people who are looking at the polls, and the people who are projecting a Governor Romney win are Dick Morris, Michael Barone, Newt Gingrich, that's of course you, Karl Rove, Joe Gaylor is someone who you told me about, and then Rush Limbaugh I just heard in that soundbite.
Right, but I think it's two different universes. I mean, either the traditional liberal media and the traditional liberal pollsters are right, and they believe there's going to be this huge Obama turnout, or I mean, I was very struck yesterday when Jeff Zeleny of the New York Times, hardly a right-wing reporter, said the states he'd been in this last week, his phrase was, the organic enthusiasm was all for Romney. There was a mechanical machine for Obama, and there was organic enthusiasm for Romney. My experience of politics is organic enthusiasm, the whole wave effect always beats the mechanics.
Is there anything either candidate can do between now and the polls closing tomorrow night, or is everything?
Romney's doing it.
So there still is something to be done. So
when Romney goes to Pittsburgh tomorrow, in the middle of coal country, with Obama's war against coal, Romney's appealing to Eastern Ohio, he's appealing to people in Pittsburgh, but he's also appealing to Western Virginia, which is coal country. And of course, he's appealing to places he's going to carry like Kentucky and Missouri and Southern Illinois and West Virginia. The fact that they added Pittsburgh tomorrow is a big deal. He's going to go into the ethnic Eastern European parts of Cleveland. Cleveland is the second largest Hungarian city after Budapest. Cleveland's a huge Polish-American city. A Romney rally among those folks is going to undercut a lot of Obama's vote coming out of Cuyahoga County.
Is that to get out the vote, to encourage and get the enthusiasm up, or do you think that there are some people who are actually undecided in those pockets?
Both. I think there are some undecided, but I think there are a lot more people who aren't quite sure they're even going to vote yet, and suddenly they get this surge of energy. I mean, I think that the numbers, for example, in Madison, Wisconsin, which are very striking. I mean, Madison has a local, very, very liberal congresswoman running for the U.S. Senate. I would have thought their turnout would have been way up. They just had a rally in Madison. There were 18,000 people there.
Which is stunning. The student population there is up around 40 or 50,000.
Right. 4 years ago, there were 80,000 people there. That means the rally 4 years ago was more than 4 times bigger than the rally this year. Second example in Madison, their absentee ballot turnout is down radically. The Republican counties are up. And I think Paul Ryan, frankly, people in Wisconsin, as you know, is a good cheesehead. People in Wisconsin are very proud of the local boy doing well. And I think that Ryan is likely to help carry the state. And my guess is Wisconsin's going to go for Romney.
President Bill Clinton, we brought up Pennsylvania. I thought it unusual that the fact that he was going to Pennsylvania for President Obama this late was actually an indication that the Obama campaign was not so certain that that is locked up.
Look, I think the fact that Romney was in Bucks County Sunday night for a huge rally, I think over 30,000 people, the fact that he's coming back to Pittsburgh, which we're told is the second biggest area of Democrats for Romney after North Carolina, is a big indicator. The fact that Karl Rove's group, as he himself said, has put $2 million in advertising this week into Pennsylvania tells you Pennsylvania's in play. And I agree with you. When you get, and I think it's smart to send Bill Clinton in because Obama can't help himself. I mean, there are no votes in Pennsylvania that Obama doesn't already have that a visit by Obama will get him. Bill Clinton is the best chance they have of breaking some folks loose. Bill Clinton is a great campaigner, but I think faced with the war on coal and faced with the cultural values differences, Clinton is not going to have very much impact in Pennsylvania.
What's your thought on this? You know President Clinton pretty well. You've worked with him for many years as opponents, political opponents. This political marriage between President Obama and President Clinton now, why?
Well, first of all, just as I'm a loyal Republican, Bill Clinton's a loyal Democrat. The party was good to him. It created who he is. His natural instinct is to campaign. He likes campaigning. It's fun. His wife works for the guy. I mean, so there's a certain... And
but his wife also ran against a guy in the campaign in 2008, said some things, essentially calling Bill Clinton a racist, the campaign.
Well, it was a tough race.
A tough race. Maybe you don't remember things like...
Look, I suspect that Bill Clinton is collecting IOUs in case Hillary wants to run in 2016. Now, I think that knowing Bill Clinton, I am confident that he thinks her running in 2016 is a good idea.
All right, let's go look at some of these Senate races. Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren and Scott Brown.
I think Brown is pulled back slightly ahead of her. He has a chance to win. The challenge for him is going to be the size of the Obama wave in Massachusetts. I think it's a very tough seat to keep, but he's had a very, very good campaign. And Elizabeth Warren has some pretty strange weaknesses, pretending to be a Native American, et cetera. And I think it's a hard race. In my mind, that's one of the hardest races to call in the country.
In Wisconsin, Tammy Baldwin and Representative Tammy Baldwin and former Governor, HHS Secretary Tommy Thompson.
Thompson beats her probably by 6 or 8 points.
That many?
Yeah. Look, the fact is, in the end, everybody who's undecided is going to vote for Tommy. I mean, you know the state well. You go in and you say, "Hi, would you like a Madison liberal in the U.S. Senate?"
Well, it's interesting. There's a newspaper, the Green Bay Press Gazette, which is, it has endorsed Governor Romney, Republican, and has endorsed Tammy Baldwin, a very liberal Democrat, and passed over Governor Thompson.
That's a little bit of a surprise. Tommy Thompson's won 5 straight races in the state. He was a very creative governor. He helped invent welfare reform. He helped invent school choice. He knows more about health care than almost any elected official in the country. And I just think, I was out campaigning with him 2 weeks ago. My instinct is just he's going to win by probably a slightly bigger margin than Romney's going to carry the state.
Missouri, Senator McCaskill and Aiken, Congressman Aiken.
Well, first of all, I've been out campaigning. Clifton and I both went out for him. I really like Todd Aiken. I really think that he was given a very bum rap by the national establishment. She is a very Obama-like voter in a state which voted 71% against Obamacare, and then she voted for Obamacare 6 weeks later. And Romney's going to carry the state probably by 8 to 12 points. So I think that Aiken is going to win by probably 3 points.
If President Obama is reelected, and I obviously know that you don't want him to be reelected, and you chuckle, what happens when everyone convenes back in Washington?
I think that would depend on Obama. Obama would, something he has not shown at all yet. Obama would have to be willing to actually listen. Now, whether or not he has the capacity to, John Boehner is going to be the Speaker of the House, period. That's done. It's over. So is he willing to actually sit down and listen to Boehner? Or just go through some transactional baloney meeting? Is he willing to sit down and talk with conservatives or just lecture them? We have no evidence as of today that Barack Obama is capable of listening to anybody who doesn't agree with him.
He says the other way around, that the Republicans decided that he's going to be a one-term president. They're going to say no to everything he said.
Sure. The question, as I said, is he willing to listen? You can't come in and say, hi, I'm going to ram through everything I want, and I'm going to use Harry Reid in the Senate to block everything you want. Now, why don't we do what I want? And if you listen to him on the stump, he says, anybody who will agree with me, I'll work with. Well, you ain't going to get very far with that attitude.
Senator Harry Reid, you expect that the Senate remains Democratic?
It may. If it does, it'll be narrower. It may not if the Romney margin's big enough. And if Romney becomes president, his first real job will be to create a Romney Democratic wing by reaching out to senators who are coming up for election in 2014 and senators who agree with him philosophically. But he will have to have 6 or 8 senators in the Democratic Party willing to vote with him against Reid in order to govern effectively.
I'm just trying to figure out what's different in terms of how this town operates if it remains a Republican Congress, House of Representatives, and Democratic Senate, and the president's reelected.
Oh, it'll be worse. Because the scandals are going to get bigger. All of the scandals involving solar power are going to get bigger. Benghazi's going to get bigger. It's all going to get worse. It's not going to get better.
Why wasn't Benghazi brought up by Governor Romney? Now, admittedly, we've been very aggressive in trying to get the facts here at Fox News, and there's been, the administration isn't happy with us about it. But Governor Romney he has not put that as an issue on foreign policy.
Governor Romney's job for the last 6 weeks has been to do exactly what Ronald Reagan did in 1980 against Jimmy Carter, to reassure moderates and women that he is a reasonable person, a positive person, and somebody that they could trust with the presidency. Every time he picks a fight, he loses. I mean, all of us love it, but he loses ground with the group he needs to finish the election off. And so I think they've done a very disciplined, very solid job of communicating what they need to communicate. Meanwhile, people like John McCain have been very tough and very direct. Lindsey Graham has done a very good job. Darrell Isse has done a good job. A number of us have tried to raise the issues in a very aggressive way.
Are you raising it for, are you raising it for political reasons to defeat President Obama, or are you raising it because you think this is a time to talk about it and...
I think when you have 4 Americans killed by terrorists and you have an administration that failed to respond in a timely way, then covered up the entire thing, then lied about what caused it, and is up to this day not telling the truth, you have a moral obligation on behalf of the people who died for their country to raise the issue.
You actually changed my view on something, because, I mean, the thing you said the other night with us is that it got pushed up to Election Day because this started on September 11th, because the administration didn't answer questions, and actually I hate to say a silly story when something so serious as 4 dead, but the administration is the reason why this is even being discussed by anybody.
They could have told the truth on the 12th of September.
And here we are.
Been over.
Anyway, what's going to happen after it? Will there be hearings on it, do you think?
Oh, sure. Look, you can't have an incident of this scale. And I mean, this is an American ambassador. The first one killed, frankly, since Jimmy Carter was president. 3 other Americans died in a fight. We had all sorts of secret documents there. The whole thing is a total mess. And I think that the Congress has an obligation to look into it. By the way, the other big thing they have to look into is the total failure of the Department of Homeland Security to learn the lessons of Katrina. I mean, you watch over the next 3 or 4 weeks, remember, everything you're seeing on Staten Island is the government that Barack Obama thinks is competent enough to handle your health care. I mean, this is a really bad situation, and I think because of the presidential campaign, it's not getting the attention it should be getting.
Speaker, thank you.